What's up, Connor? What up, Nico? Sorry I missed you guys last night. What's up, Danis? Spoozle. Yeah, so we had, last night was like the first, so Thursday. Usually my daughters have dance Thursday. She has a competition this weekend. And they had to do some work at the studio today or yesterday. So they moved it up to Wednesday. And we didn't have baseball practice yesterday either. So the kids were both home that evening. Well, all three of them were home that evening, but two of them usually have something to do. And then they just come home and go to bed. But yesterday, with nothing to do, we ended up having a neighborhood kickball game. So the kids were just fired up all night. And I think it was like 9:45. So I could have hopped on for a little bit, but I had an early morning this morning. So I didn't want to get on for 15 minutes or then just be peer pressured into staying on for a while. That's where we're at. And unfortunately, Mike couldn't make it too, so it was a double whammy late notice. But we're going to, instead of going every other, we're going to go ahead and hit next Thursday. And things should be back on track. Yeah, we've got the drop, the Frostwave Druids, and then the White Walker Councils. They look awesome. I haven't shown those off yet. I'll show them to you guys in a second here. This is Nathan's. That's not the right bag. What up, Brian? So those are our councils. I mean, kickball is awesome. You get so many different kids that can play with a little bit less curve than like this thing is so good. Now toss them pads in and you're good to go. I don't even think I can do black hops, Mike. Not a trick I ever felt like I cared to learn. And then even the tricks I did care to learn, tricks don't really register in my head now anymore as with a trick name. Yeah, I think everybody needs a druid. And specifically this druid. This is the one Matt got that he had to not talk about. Poor guy. Like, does your payroll Is it not just standard? Like it's always at the same time every 2 weeks or bi-monthly or whatever you get monthly? It sounds like some small business BS. My payroll would not be on time. Yeah, Groove Guardian is sick too, and I'll probably be in the same boat with you until you're ready to display one and play one. Woo! That glitch about got glitchier. Local government. Did you guys do anything fun at club last night? I don't know that Electric Lagoon will come back because Electric Lagoon was kind of a mistake. It didn't come out the right colors of blue to be Caribbean Sea. What's your favorite non-G2 of all time? Mike, I mean, honestly, I haven't played anybody else's yo-yos for years now. I don't really pay attention to anybody else anymore because that keeps me fresh on my own stuff. I liked the Avalanche a lot. What else did I really like? You know, that Wild that I played, it felt so goofy. I kind of liked it in one of the recent flights. What else have I liked? I don't know. I just really don't mess with anything else, Mike. Sorry. Kind of like you and Monkey Finger. Or Art. Art is what I should have said. I don't really want to sound... So, like, I played the Evolve recently. I'm in the talks with someone that I'm trying to figure out a mainline competition yo-yo for a few competition players. And honestly, I don't really like the Evolve, but I got one to play to feel like what the competition players want a yo-yo to feel like. So in that aspect, it makes sense to try other stuff, but I kind of... Designing a yo-yo, and you can kind of design how you want it to play. Outside of unique stuff, and you know, maybe the trend of going wider, I'm slow on. Other than that, I don't feel like it's a fair competition most of the time, and I don't feel like I'm going to gain a whole lot from playing somebody else's stuff. I'm really confident in what I'm producing. I don't know, Cliff. I think you guys got to go on a nice walk. Questions about customs. If I get a chance, can I do similar colorway to one you've done, but your own spin on it? Yep. That's pretty much what I say to people is if you want to do snozzberries, you got to add something to it to make it a little bit different. I don't want you just copying colorway, and definitely not somebody else's customs. I don't think Bungie owns Halo anymore. I have to reach out to Microsoft, and I don't know. There's no reason for me to have really if I was to make an actual Spartan UN, like a Spartan yo-yo with Halo branding, like I'd have to make so many of them for it to be worth it. It wouldn't really feel like a G2. That would be like everybody else's. Tested, assembled, all packaged at the machine shop, not something that gets the love and care that all G2s get. So I don't know, like, how that would work out. Just 5,000 yo-yos. No swirls on the customs menu, and even when if I get swirls back, they won't be on the customs menu. Just the variation is pretty great, large, I guess is the proper word. I guess I'll never say never, but I don't expect swirls to be on the customs list for a while. When I roll it out of my hand, you hit yourself in the face with the string. So it comes up. I'm guessing it's a string tension issue. I don't know. I don't think I've ever hit myself in the string. I just did get a gut shot there, then it bounced onto the trapeze. That was pretty cool. That could be my specialty move. Daniel, right now customs are taking, I don't know, 8 months to get through the list. I don't, it would be like, if I had swirls back on the menu, I think it would take 2 years to get through the customs list. Dad bod trapeze. Funny thing about dad bod is what people consider to be dad bod, not dad bod. Yeah, so swirls, there's a lot of mounting and unmounting of the parts, and the ability to apply the masking correctly to get the swirls is very difficult. And anodizers that can do that are usually already busy enough that they don't want to go through the hassle. You got your setup, Brian? I couldn't get Ted to do very good swirls. But very poorly. Okay. So yeah, you could get Nebula in a swirl in theory if that anodizer was willing to do swirls. Which right now they're just so busy they're not willing to do it. So what needs to happen is like his wife needs to decide, hey, I want to go on this really expensive vacation, or I want to buy our daughter this new car, or something that they need a little extra revenue. That's, I think, the only way we're getting swirls back in the near future. What up, Heinz? Yes, it is. A stinking sweet council at that, bro. Yeah, I don't really want to share too much, but there's a better way than the drill, Brian. I think he only has one kid, so they don't need a Odyssey. But they do need a White Walker Council. I would have liked to see his setup, Brian, for sure, because he did some incredible stuff with like precision masking. Yeah, I mean, this is what I envisioned they would have been like with the white and blue eyes. At the time they did, if you go back and look at them now, it's like in my memory they're better than when you actually see them. Blue eyes, white dragon. What is that thing? Is that what it? White eye. What's the actual proper order of the words there for that Yu-Gi-Oh reference? Yeah, he had money. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh. But what was the actual? Was it actually blue-eyed white dragon? It's been so long. But yeah, I played Yu-Gi-Oh cards and watched the show. Nico, it just comes with testing. So like you're actually learning tricks when you yo-yo. I'm just regenning. Cliff, I think that that comes with the growth. And they had, you know, a really good, great branding, presence, great yo-yos, stories with everything, and with the growth that just changed. You kind of lose that when you're done being hands on. But they had some epic stuff. Yeah, those were the two main players. Yo-Yo Factory is in the same spot it was in. It had already made the leap to big time, right? Um, and you know, most successful business, but out of the what do you call it? Enthusiasts also got the most crap because they were a true business, not a small town shop. Um, my opinion on RCS closing down, I kind of talked about it. They had their own niche that they were working in, and I think they laid it out pretty well. That if you don't have the energy and effort to put into all forms of the business, you can't just make yo-yos and sell them. You need like Yo-Yo Factory. They just make yo-yos and sell them because they have these players that are promoting and have turned into influencers. Um, I would say making a good yo-yo is easier than selling a yo-yo, but I prefer more people in more brands in the yo-yo space because if they bring anybody into yo-yoing, that's somebody that is also now a potential customer for G squared. And I don't think it has to be exclusive. Like when I get a new customer, I don't feel like I stole it from a different brand. I feel like they're customers for multiple brands. I bet everybody in here has yo-yos from other brands. So the more people into yo-yoing, buying yo-yos, and yo-yoing, telling their friends about yo-yo is good for all businesses. And with all that said, they were in a niche of a niche. So I think they needed to sprinkle in a few more mainstream yo-yos. When you're making a niche of a niche yo-yo, there's only so many customers for each of those niche yo-yos. Um, and a lot of them I would call novelty yo-yos that were a pick it up and throw it once, and that's about it. So it's okay to have some of those, but you have to have something else to fulfill larger runs of yo-yos and broader market of the yo-yo space. I played the beater. The beater I like. I don't like the engravings, but I'm not an engravings guy. I don't know if they were all engraved or not. But Avalanche, original Sasquatch, even the original Narwhal was one of my first Caribou Lodges that I owned. I liked that a good bit. Um, that size yo-yo really does not, it's not out there very much anymore. You have the Grunt in that size. Actually, and I have no idea what other brands might have something in that mid-size. That's a good percentage there, Connor. I mean, you get up to 20 and two of them are not G2s. That puts you at 10%. That's about right. You got to have something else to be reminded why your G2s are special. I wanted to ask you this, Connor. I heard on Club, I was listening last night, and you said that your roommate is a pilot. So, so does he fly private jets when people need a pilot? Because I don't think you said he was a commercial pilot. I have a stack of egg crates somewhere. Are they all full? Oh, he is a commercial pilot. So does he? Who does he fly for? These druids are absolutely incredible. I don't know if it'll focus that close or get you good lighting, but these things, the wash is wild. Brandon, that does multiple things for you too. Like, not just like, oh yeah, new G2 customer, awesome for me. Um, it gives you like if yo-yoing in person with somebody is sweet. You pick up tricks, you progress faster, and a lot of fun, especially if you can get a local club. UV reflective throws, no. Most of that can happen usually with, well, you can do the Cerakote, but the vibe, I don't like the vibe you get with the Cerakote. And plastic is just, plastic's a tough game for yo-yos. You have to make so many, and mass production, it's not really something I want to do. Because there's a quality control aspect that I wouldn't be able to do with plastics. I did see the great string off, and I wanted nothing to do with that. I do not want to be a judge. Okay, so he teaches. So I guess commercial pilot to me was flies commercial planes like for one of the airlines. So with the like, I can be honest on the string reviews, but it's just like if all your kids are in a coloring contest and they want you to pick one, you can be honest about it, but it doesn't make you feel good and it doesn't make them feel good. Yeah, yeah. My definition was different than the actual definition. That was clean. I have some big red strings here. He sent me, but he wasn't ready to start selling them yet, so I'm not going to do the review yet. I want to wait till he's finalized and ready to start selling, and then I'll do a quick little YouTube review. With that being said, has anybody tried the Walvern, the UV Care Coat? Is it worth $85 today? I think if you don't mind a little vibe, I don't know how people like that specific yo-yo. Haven't played it. I have a legendary Terraria to do a flight with different side effects, but I really haven't played a lot of their new stuff outside of the Rainier, which I had really high hopes for. Didn't quite fill it. I think my hopes might have been too high. If you have multiple judges and there is a ranking system, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to stay out of the judging. Like, even if it was anonymous judges, but yeah. I don't have my zoom lens on, but there's photos on the G2 drops and the Discord. Blue, dark blue, clear wash, blue blasted stainless steel rims. And I think there's better judges out there for the string game than me as well, because whoever gets the closest to Diamond Bun is going to be my #1 choice. So the rims are blasted on this? Yes, they are, sir. There is a space for a lot of people to enjoy reviews if you make good reviews with your production quality of the unboxing. The ability is definitely there. FOV Mega, how many do you need it to hold, Brian? Like 80 is kind of a lot. It's also like the correct size, I think, for storage. But I suppose I could do, like, if it opened it up and you had both sides, 80, 80, then the other side opens up 80, 80, 160, 240, 320. You just want a bolt. the G2 Vault 320 yo-yos. Caleb, you're on stream.
Hey, okay. I was just saying we decided not to push anything back, letting coaches know they just have to be there probably early for 9 a.m. games to make sure that the field is playable.
Yeah, rake the field and.
Yeah, and then everyone's notified tonight that if it starts like downpouring like crazy, they need to get off because we've got a lot of games tomorrow to make sure we get in.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Okay.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye. 320 yo-yos. Let's call them 3 to a pound. So, holy cow. Maybe you can get 4 to a pound. So let's just call that 75 pounds. A 75-pound yo-yo vault. The vault. That's a stupid enough idea that I would do it. I think I'd get rid of the FOV part. It's going to be like a vault. Yeah. 120 throws, 2 oversized spaces for off strings. Off strings yo-yos, they don't need to be in the vault. They can just sit wherever they want to sit. Off string yo-yos need love too. Maybe it's time for an aluminum off string yo-yo and I'll give it big safety rims. Do I make it titanium with big safety rims, and then you can buy more safety rims? How big do you need it to be? Give me the proper sizing for an off-string yo-yo. Is it like 80 by 65? And the gap you're looking at like 3 millimeters? And do I go debearing even though the yo-yo's that big? So there's the conundrum as well when I'm testing these yo-yos. I can take apart this and I can have 2 glitches, or I can have an extra A grade and this trash grade. Monetary wise, it makes sense to have 2 glitches, but G squared QC wise, I'd rather have the A grades. 2 to 2.5 millimeter gap, 77 by 60. That's kind of close to what I said, right? All right, so numbers. Druid. Druid 19 passed QC and Council only 8 passed QC. So good luck tonight, whichever one you're going for. I do my best to ship them together if you get both, but in separate orders, transactions. I missed the Council. Let's see it. White Walker. Bright blue rims here on that clear body. Looks awesome. I might end up having more Councils in my collection than anything else. I think it's because they are so unique that I like them so much. I don't know. I don't know if it is just because they're so unique. The two-tone I like so much, even over just different items. I don't know. They just look clean. George, if you're a Throny, is that the perfect name for him? What's up, Nige? I think Dan has a Council. Uh-oh. We're almost out of mail day assistance. Last box. I made the toy too good. So what do you want to do to it, Brandon? And I think you got to sell it with everybody else because I think everybody else really likes it. I'm not sure how high the interest is. I would love to do a color for the production run, but I don't know that we could do multiple. Like, I'd like to do gunmetal, but I also think you have to do raw. Maybe you don't. I don't know. So, like, and rose gold looks really good, and everybody likes rainbow. I don't know. But I got to get to the bus stop. Shaving off some of the stability ring. It's bigger than the soy. Do you want it spread evenly throughout the rim and keep the weight the same, or do you want, like, I don't think I want to take the spin time down anymore. I kind of really like it as it is, but you're just saying it's too good, so that would make sense to take the spin time down from where it's at for the way you wanted it to play. What are these supply pods? One of these days, I do really have to go, but I'll show this really quick. So it's basically a Zen 10, but rebranded, and I also changed the dimensions. It's a little bit fatter, so you can fit a little more string in the bottom, but you have two compartments. One, the top compartment for, I say, bearings and axles, and bottom compartment for strings or bigger items. Not made for the pouches in your mouth. You would not put the new ones in the bottom and then your used ones in the top. But yeah. So as you see, we'll have black and red Yo-Yo supply pod. They're pretty sweet. All right. See you guys at the bus stop.